My name's Steve Thorpe. I spent over 28 years at HSE working in the laboratory part of the Health and Safety Executive, and the majority of those years were spent on slips, trips and falls, falls from height, stair falls, essentially falls. Okay, so this is the pendulum test. I'm just going to introduce you to this test at a fairly high level. I'm not going into too much detail, but I assure you that this pendulum is properly set up, it's been calibrated, it's been verified, and it's been all the other checks have been done. We're working with the Slider 96 rubber. That's the one that you would use for the majority of work that you do. It's used in all situations where people have footwear on. There is a different rubber that's used in barefoot situations, and in some situations where you've got both barefoot and shod users, you would need to use both. But for the purposes of this demonstration, we're just using the Slider 96. So the slider is here. This is the thing that makes the measurement on the surface, which is here. We've just got a typical ceramic tile here. And the footprint, the contact area, has been set, so we're ready to do a test. To do a test, I simply release the arm by pressing the button here, and remember to catch the arm. And the number that we're getting in the dry is about 68, something like that. Normally you would do a series of swings, but for the purposes of this demonstration we're just going to do one. All I'm doing now is wetting the surface just using potable water. And if I do another test, you will see that we get a lower value. This time we get about 42. So a couple of points there. One, you should do some dry testing because it's the final conditioning of your slider. Two, there's a difference between the dry and wet numbers. The reason for doing the dry test is not just the conditioning, it's about the first indication of whether the surface is clean or not, and separately to see the difference between the dry and the wet. To talk about tiles just thinking about dry numbers is a mistake. I have seen people specify surfaces, not just tile, on dry numbers only. Clean dry surfaces will always achieve, nearly always, almost always achieve a value in excess of 36 on this test. A surface that gives you a high dry number is likely to give you a low wet number, so it's important that you have both pieces of information before making a decision. And if you're working in an industry where there may be contaminants other than water, you may want to do some additional testing using the sorts of things that might be getting on the floors in your industries. Talk a little bit about the scale then. If we get a value of 36, which I'm trying to indicate there with the pointer, that's the value that HSE's guidance suggests you need in a foreseeably contaminated situation, 36. So above 36, there's plenty of friction, you're meeting the guidance, the regulation. As you come down below 36, there's less friction in the system, there's more risk of people slipping. When you get to 24, and again I'm just trying to indicate that with the pointer, the risk of slipping is about 1 in 20. At 36, the risk of slipping is about 1 in a million, so they're very different.